Hello, everybody. It's Amber Kivett here with Lifepro, your leader in health and wellness and all things holistic for the optimal version of you. I am super excited to share with you today. I have a lot of clients, and I've had a lot of you asking questions about how to eliminate foot ankle pain, lower leg pain. And, I was doing something with the VibranceX new vibration plate. It's one of our smaller our small portable units. I was using this at home not too long ago for just flushing out my legs at the end of a very long day, and posted that on social media, and somebody said, wow, like, why are you doing that for? Like, I never thought of using it that way. And in what I do professionally speaking, I specialize in a sports medicine holistic practice for immediate pain relief, but also for creating optimal performance in everyday individuals as well as athletes. So what I'm wanting to share with you today is something that has been long overdue. I've got multiple videos that we've done with Lifepro in years past about plantar fasciitis, foot ankle pain, restless leg syndrome. If you're having issues from the knee on down into the foot, then you just don't feel good all the way up to the neck. And so I want to share with you today, I've been a barefoot training specialist for many, many years, and how we take care of our feet is how the rest of our body stacks. And so if we are having issues with our feet, we're going to have issues all the way up to the neck. So I'm wanting to share with you, if you have foot ankle pain, if you have issues where you're not able to relax and lay down and rest at night when you're supposed to, you get almost like that tingling sensation in your legs, or you get cramps. This is especially wonderful for those who have had a recent surgery and they're worried about blood clots or deep vein thrombosis, or you're just not able to move around as much. You can start using the vibration plate pretty quickly with the blessing of your medical team, and just getting your legs pumping again. Considering that if you've had surgery, or if you've had an injury that is not involving that area of your body, it's someplace from the hips on up. If you're limited and you can't move around, just remember, movement is medicine, motion is lotion. You have to lubricate and mobilize things in our body, fluid, lymph, in order to keep the connective tissue, which is one of our connective tissues we call the fascia. And in order to keep that active and springy and happy, like just full of fluid, and I like to refer to it as Jello dip stockings as opposed to sticky honey peanut butter tangles. Restless leg syndrome is technically a nutrition deficiency of thiamine and B1. So if you're not getting B1, if you're not getting magnesium, which is a natural electrolyte that allows our muscles to respond to the signaling from our brain through our nervous system, then if you're not moving, our calf muscle is considered the second heart of the human body, in which gravity pushes everything further away from us whether we're laying down or whether we're standing or whether we're sitting. A lot of those structures in our limbs and anything below the waist is not moving as much when we're in a stagnant position. So if we can use some of these different strategies in order to stimulate, awaken, flush, flow, pump, and just get things moving, we have 80% of our nerve cells, nociceptors, mechanoreceptors. I'm nerding out on you totally right now, right? But if we can get those nerve fibers, those nerve cells excited, picking up and inflowing information again, when we don't move, we become those little nerve cells become foreign to information entering into the body. And so 80% of those that feed the brain information, as well as pelvic floor, exist only on the skin, on the bottom of your feet, and on the palms of your hands. So if you're not exciting them, and if you are blocking them from being excited by wearing custom orthotics, by wearing tight shoes, by wearing shoes that don't fit, or worn out shoes, or you're not grounding yourself, then the rest of the body just doesn't function the same way. So in fact, you can access the entire body using the bottom of the foot, and there's part of the brain that only your big toe has access to. It's really quite fascinating. So what I'm wanting to share with you today are some strategies as well as some exercises that you can use at home in order to help overcome the discomfort and the pain or the chronic discomfort of pain in your foot as well as pain in your lower legs, so that you can get that vitality back into the core of your body, and you can circulate out that lymph, you can get blood flow in and out, and you can eliminate or smooth out some of those tangles or some of those kinks that are causing a lot of the discomfort or the delay in the information from brain to foot through the ground. When it comes to the foot, we have a lot of structures. We have over 206 bones in the human body. 25% of those are actually in your foot ankle area. So, and we have over 100 ligamentous junctions in the foot alone. So it's a very complex, incredible structure, really important structure. And so I did videos on this several years ago, in 2020, if I remember right, about how to overcome restless leg syndrome, but also plantar fasciitis or foot ankle pain. And so I'm just going to give you a little refresher on some of that using some of our newer products, but also using some of our smaller vibration plates, as well as giving you ideas on how to do certain exercises or other different tips and tricks in allowing yourself a better opportunity if you don't have the funding to going to the doctor or to physical therapy, or you're not able to get up and move as much as you want to. You know, a lot of what you can do in order to overcome that pain can be done at home. So I'm going to share with you some of those strategies because I see it on a regular basis with clients, and we see instant results, you know, really pretty quick. There are 3 prominent points on the bottom of your foot that are really important: base of your big toe, base of your little toe, center of your heel. So if we are putting pressure or distributing our weight in a regular neutral position on on all those 3 points, as equally as we can sense or feel it, I want you to make sure that you are aware that you want to be loading those 3 points as equally as possible, whether you have shoes on or you don't. If you are loading more on the outer edge of your foot, then you are requiring energy to flow in through the outer leg, up into your hip, into your low back, and it misses entering in through the core, through your midline, okay? So if we are loading energy on the big toe and the heel and trying to feel a little bit of the outside of the foot, you're actually going to inflow natural free energy through the middle of our body, entering in through the core power vacuum of the pelvic floor, rebounding and vibrating off of your diaphragm, your psoas, and exiting out whatever you're in contact with or wherever you're releasing the energy. So if you're having pain in your hip, it actually can come from not grounding or not loading properly in the foot. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about today, is how to use some of these different Lifepro devices, as well as things that you might have free at home that you can do in order to get yourself into a routine to where you don't have to do it every day, but at the end of your day, if you've had a long day, you've been on your feet, especially on concrete, if you're somebody who wears composite toe boots or steel toe boots, your foot is very disconnected, even if you have an orthotic. There's no energy absorption or transfer if you are in something that is like molded to protect you. Got to have that, right? But we also have to get those piggly wigglies like excited. We have to get those nerve cells happy, having a little party, so that they can absorb that information transferred on up the line into your pelvic floor and all the way up into your brain, so that you can, you know, live your life. And so I've got some different things that we're going to do, and you can use a little bit of it, you can use all of it, or you don't have to use any of it. Totally up to you. But one thing that I wanted to share with you, I give these out to every single one of my clients who are here for pain, because I work on feet, whether they have a back injury, a neck injury, a shoulder issue, an elbow. I work on feet regardless, because you can really transform what's happening, kinetically speaking, energy transfer, by making sure that the feet are sound and grounded. These toe separators, you can get these on Amazon for, I want to say $10 a pair. If you type in on Amazon, gel toe separators, They are really good if you wear these in the evening or first thing in the morning for 15 minutes. Do not walk around when you have these on, because it changes the alignment of these little sesamoid bones in the bottom of your foot, which we don't want to bruise those. So if you put those on while you're just sitting, whether you're eating breakfast, you're eating dinner, you're reading a book, you're just chillaxing, if you put these in, it opens up the junctions and the joints in your foot. It takes compression off, because when we're in shoes that are fashion oriented or work related, our toes and our the structures and the tissues in our feet get all crunched in, like, ugh, right? So if we wear these, it opens those joints out, which then allows more energy to enter in through your body for free. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to work hard for it. It's just free energy, which all enters in through the ground into our feet. So when you open up those joints and you spread the toes, you are also changing how much area that you're absorbing that natural energy. And for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So if my foot is opening up wider instead of being all tight, then it is going to absorb natural energy for free, as opposed to you having to create it because you're not getting that information. So I hope that makes sense. But again, you don't want to walk around in them, and absolutely do not sleep in them, because I've had people try that and that's not a good outcome. So just 15 minutes in the evening, a couple times a week, if not daily if you want to, you will feel an immediate difference as soon as they come up. But you can get those on Amazon. If you happen to have a ball, whether it's a squishy ball, a dog toy, whether it is a foot therapy ball, a lacrosse ball, do be cautious not to use a golf ball or baseball, softball, because they're hard and rigid, and we don't want to bruise structures in the foot. But if you have a ball that you can compress, or something like a water bottle works that way, we're going to use this on the vibration plate, and I'm going to show you how to use it while you're receiving the natural vibration, in order to really feel where your foot needs a little more love, and you get to being in control of that. When it comes to using your legs, if you happen to have a foam roller at home, awesome. If you don't, not a big deal, but I am going to show you how to use this in combination with vibration, so that you can like maximize two different types of technologies, foam rolling as well as vibration combined. It is a totally different level of energy and relief when you're combining a foam roller on the vibration plate. It doesn't have to be a fancy, this is a Rollga, Rollga. You don't have to have a fancy Rollga. We actually make a foam roller that vibrates through Lifepro. We had them for a long time, and then we were sold out of them for a while, so I don't know if they're back in stock yet. But our vibrating foam rollers are pretty awesome. And if you just have a regular foam roller or half moon foam roller, whatever you got, if you got a foam roller, grab it, and I'm going to share with you how to utilize it for your lower legs as well. And then I want to share with you one of our newest massage guns. This is called the Spenergy, and it is made specifically for lymphatic control. And so it's just a much smaller unit than some of our other bigger ones. And it does come with multiple different tips that change out. It is a very different, unique type of massage gun. And you can also, what makes this one really cool is these are not made of a foam plate like a lot of our other attachments for our massage guns, because it is meant to use with essential oils or with a cream or an analgesic topical if you choose to use that with. But this is called Spinergy, and not only does it spin, but it vibrates. And so it breaks things down as it continues to spin, and it vibrates. And we've got multiple different levels. So as you touch the button on the end, you're going to continue to see the levels going all the way up to as high as you want them to. And it's spinning and it's vibrating. This does not have red light therapy on it. It is super light to use and to hold. But I'm just doing this on my forearm so that you can see kind of how it works. And it will leave a lot of different splotches, if you will. Those are tangles in my forearms. And so it's really cool with how it breaks things down so that you can see the blood flow coming through. So I'm going to show you how to do that. If you happen to have a regular massage gun, feel free to grab it. I'm going to show you how to use it on the bottom of the foot as well as in your calves in order to get the best of relief in your foot pain and as well as restless leg syndrome. Okay, So without further ado, I am going to take you down to the ground, in which we're going to do some different things to play with. And then we're going to end in showing you how to do some strengthening exercises with this ball. And life just goes on. So I'm going to bring you down to my level for a few moments. And here we go. Now, many of you who saw me on the VibranceX, that's this vibration plate here. I also have over in the corner here, I got the Relax-A-Vibe. And it's one of my favorite. It's very similar to the RumbleX. It's got 3 motors, lots of different it's got 3 preset programs, but it's got a lot of different levels. And so if you're wanting something that has more intensity that you can also do workouts with, you can use more aggressively for fat loss. The more motors that it has, the better accelerated results you're going to get with less effort. But the VibranceX, I love this because it only weighs 15 pounds. Like you can bicep curl it if you really want to. But I was working one day after this thing came out, and I just happened to have it in the middle of my living room like I do now. And I'm going to bring this back a little bit. I'm sitting on the PEMF Infrazen mat, so I'm getting PEMF at the same time. So I'm mixing multiple technologies, but you don't have to have it all. You just need a little bit. And so I'm just right here. You can see how my legs are shaky, shaky, wakey, wakey. Restless leg syndrome, because of the nutrient deficiency that it provides, the electrical signals that are trying to provide information and feedback through your feet all the way up to your brain, those signals are blocked off or delayed, and our brain provides information to our body and those nerve fibers, those pain sensors, through an electrical system, through the path of least resistance. It's not always the best path, not always the most powerful path, not the best option. It's just going to use whatever it can in that moment. And so if we are full of kinks and knots and tangles, it almost will feel like you got little bugs crawling out of your legs, or you just have to move all the time. Children who have ADHD, or even adults for that matter, they constantly are fidgeting. It's very, very similar. And so we have used vibration plate workouts, or just technology vibration in general, with kids with autism or ADHD in order to calm things down, but also to keep everything signaling and fluid within their system. So what you're seeing me doing right now is just flushing out all the gunk in my lower legs, and I am trying to stimulate my fascia to restructure, reshape, and changing its mold, because it's reshaping every 20 to 30 minutes. And if you don't move, it gets stagnant, and then it creates more tension and more shortening. So as you are sitting on whatever vibration plate you got, I just want you to move your legs side to side, kind of like windshield wipers. And you can push on the gas pedals right to left, up and down. You can wax on and wax off. But the most important thing is trying to get as much stimulation through as many of these areas as possible, because again, your calf muscle is referred to as the second heart of the human body. So its job, when those muscles are actively firing, is to pump all of this stuff up into your lymphatic system. And we have a port behind the knee, and we have a port right here in our groin, in which if those get blocked, and that lymph or the water or the ground substance or whatever is down there, if it gets stuck and stagnant, it causes more pain and more neuropathy, or more burning, more tingling, a lot of different things. So just sitting here with my legs elevated can help with that. Now, if you don't like sitting down on the floor and putting yourself at that level, I have a mat in which I can put that in line with the vibration plate. So now I'm on the same level, and now I can sit tall and do the exact same thing, and I can feel it all the way up into my hips. And again, I'm just rocking and rolling, and right now I'm just on a speed of 1. So I don't even have this on a preset program. So let's go and choose a preset program. And if you have a vibration plate at home, go ahead and get on a preset program. And all I want you to do is just pull your toes to your nose. If you can't spread your toes apart, that's where you need to put in the toe separators. So that being said, if you want to sit on your vibration plate for 10 minutes and put those toe separators in at the same time, you can maximize the energy and the effort and the time that you're using by doing multiple things. So yes, so you're seeing me, again, I'm using the vibration plate, the VibranceX on my PMF mat. I'm sitting on another mat so that I'm sitting level. It just, I'm not necessarily receiving the benefits of the PEMF mat right at the moment, but I don't want to move it out of the way because it's heavy. So I get to just hang out here and just let me do my thing. Now, while this is doing what it's doing, if you wanted to take a foam roller of whatever choice you have and put your legs on top of the foam roller, and you can work one at a time. You can have one foot in contact with the vibration plate like such, and then have the other leg on the foam roller if you want to, and just rocking and rolling. You can work rolling side to side, and at the same time, the bottom of my foot is receiving the vibrational energy through those happy cells that really like to be excited. So just back and forth, side to side, pushing those gas pedals down, and then we're just rolling a little bit more forward, an inch at a time, and just rocking and rolling. So it's really nice how it works out. Bear with me here. There we go. And of course, the vibration plate is so powerful. It's vibing away. So you can do this beer on the floor, or you can run your foam roller, at the same time. If you choose not to use the foam roller and you just want to work side to side with the vibration on top of this, it is a really good sensation to feel foam roller and vibration plate at the same time. So there's all kinds of strategies that you can do to combine those two together. Now, if I'm wanting to use the ball and the vibration plate at the same time, you're going to do this in a standing position where one foot is on and the other foot is truly grounded. Or, you can actually put your foot on here and just roll it around. So now I'm stimulating and exciting and just making feel good the bottom of my foot, while this leg is receiving the energy vibration at the same time on the calf. So you can do this if you choose to. If you want to use a water bottle and you want to roll it up and down throughout the calf, you can do that as well. So I can go up and down the calf while using the ball or a frozen water bottle. I'm going to turn on comments here so I can see if any of you guys have questions. It's good to hear from all of you today. Thank you for being here. Okay. So, and if you do have questions, if something's not working or if you need more suggestions, we can totally work with that. Now, when it comes to using this vibration plate, it is a really, it's an awesome plate. You don't want to do too much of it just standing and loading because of the weight capacity of it, because it's just a portable mini. But it is one of my new favorites because of how much energy it offers when it comes to breaking down these little tangles and kinks in the lower legs. Okay, so if you have a massage gun, we're receiving the vibrational energy through the vibration plate. Now I'm turning on the massage gun, and now I'm not only working on the calves, but if you're trying to work on any adhesions, fibrotic tissue, little catches, lumps and bumps, I like to call it, in the quads or in the thighs, you can work this all at the same time. And you can break all that down however you want to, as you feel comfortable with it. Turn it on. There we go. And again, it's spinning and it's vibrating at the same time. Now, my legs are starting to itch profusely right now. So that means we are breaking free something. The body is picking up on stuff that's being released into the system, and it is releasing that histamine response, which feels like itching, and it makes a huge difference. And in that, however your body stored, whatever is entrapped in the tissue. When it stored those molecules, it went in one way, brain recognized it, and now we're releasing it or freeing it so it can be mobile, and it changes over time the longer it sits stagnant. And so the brain recognizes it, and now it's a little different. And so it releases a histamine response. So if you're feeling a little itchy, if you're turning a little red, it's okay. But I am just going a little bit at a time using the Spinergy Massage Gun while receiving the vibration in the lower legs, which will help break up the tension, the tightness, the tangles. We'll get circulation down into the lower region. And then what you need to make sure that you're doing on your end is taking B1, magnesium, or thiamine. Those are those three different supplements that our body absolutely has to have in order to be able to thrive. And so if you're deficient in B1, then you need to make sure you're getting your B vitamins, because the body has to have it. And magnesium is responsible for over 600 different processes for homeostasis in the human body. And if you're not getting enough electrolytes or magnesium, then that will also cause cramping, neuropathy, or what people call restless leg syndrome. Yes, so those of you who are just joining, ooh, I'm getting itchy. Ha! It's working. And I haven't been super mobile today because I've been taking notes and doing lives. So I haven't been outside doing physical activity, going for a walk. I've been doing a lot of standing and a lot of, stagnation, I guess, to put it correctly. So yes, to answer your question, those of you that are chiming in, yes, what I'm showing you will help with neuropathy and restless leg syndrome. How do I know this? If you go back and you look at some of the videos I did during the pandemic, we started using vibration plates in 2019 in my facility, my gymnasium, and I had a bunch of individuals that were coming in and doing workouts on a weekly basis, and then they would use the vibration plates before it was ever popular. This is 7 years ago. They were using the vibration plates for just flushing out and just to relax before going home. All of them reported to me, we're talking, when I say all of them, I'm talking at least 20 individuals every week that were coming in once or twice a week just to use the vibration plate after the workout, or just doing stretching and doing core abdominal work, or dancing. We were teaching, I was teaching Zumba back then. And so they would come in and they would stand on a vibration plate at the end of the class before going home. And many of them, after just a week, reported that they had had restless leg syndrome, and there was really no medication for that they were pushing at the time, and the restless leg syndrome and the leg cramps were going away. It's very common, especially in women who are going through hormonal shifts, menopause, perimenopause. If you are a woman who is expecting a child, you're carrying a baby, because you're carrying so much more fluid and you're not moving as much as your body might have been used to, it's very normal and very common for women to get leg cramps when they're expecting. But if you have, a change in habits, so when I was in a bad car accident years ago in which I was disabled and not able to move as much, so I was laying down often, and my legs started bothering me a lot. When I started exercising again is when everything started to get better. But not everybody's able to just go out and exercise. So you can use the vibration plate to let the machine work to exercise for you, because it stimulates those fibers to twitch and to release like a pump, but also to develop, definition and tone. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I also had restless leg syndrome, and I ended up with eclampsia. So I had like the Flintstone feet, lots of swelling, lots of peripheral edema, and we didn't have one of these back then. So I couldn't use it. Had a total hysterectomy, and again, restless leg syndrome and cramps and not feeling good because I wasn't moving. I was in bed just recovering for a month, and so when I got my vibration plate shortly thereafter was when life just got a lot better. So after the pandemic started, women weren't using, or those individuals were not using the vibration plates at home because they didn't have one, and their restless leg syndrome came back. And so they reached out to me and said, hey, that stuff is really working, because we didn't have the studies back then that we have now. And so we, I ended up in promoting them to buying our entry-level vibration plate. They started using it again, and within a week, their leg cramps went away. So it has been proven effective for restless leg syndrome. It has also been proven effective for neuropathy. It has also worked really, really well for anybody that I have worked with who has got plantar fasciitis, heel pain, bottom of the foot pain, or any kind of other, like Achilles tendonitis, those kind of issues, anything lower leg, it works really, really well for. So that's what I wanted to share with you with the VibranceX. If you're looking for a second plate that's super cost effective, much cheaper than some of the other models we have. It just came out a few months ago, and it's awesome for restless leg syndrome, plantar fasciitis, and just getting this feeling better. You're going to see when I stand up, you're going to see I've got like little indentations or splotches. They look like bruises. That is blood flow. That is itchy from breaking free little lumps and adhesions. And if you're trying to understand what that might look like, let me show you what that looks like, because I've got a picture of what this looks like. I've been studying connective tissue and fascia for 20 years. And so I have a good idea of sharing how this actually presents. And so if, everybody's saying there's no cure for restless leg syndrome, they're full of crap, because I see it all the time, and there is a way to restore it. When we have injuries or we've got kinks in our tissue from doing too much of a good thing or not doing enough, or we have an injury, our body starts to create these little kinks. And it doesn't really go back to restoring that unless we create a stimulus that reshapes that. And vibration does that. We have all the evidence to prove that it actually does that from a clinical standpoint. When we have an injury, our body comes back. So it starts out with this seamless, beautiful tissue. The injury happens, and then it comes back as a big, big patch. And if you don't remodel that patch, then the patch takes over you. So vibration and the massage gun will help to break up and restructure and reshape that patch. If you are somebody who does not move a lot, this is where it becomes really important. If you're in a wheelchair, if you've had a surgery and you're limited, and you can't move as much, then we go from being the little one jumping with the jump rope, where this is nice and springy and more, it reminds me of fishnet pantyhose dipped in Jello. With this, it is tattered up yarn. It's like you've taken a ball of yarn, you've pulled it all apart, you've thrown it in a pile, and you go to try and wrap it back up. Everything is all sticky and kinked and nasty. And that's what happens when we sit or we don't move enough. So, but here's the cool part. We can take this and convert it back into this. All you have to do is provide the stimulus, which is vibration. It's like a gentle earthquake, shaky, shaky, wakey, wakey. It's igniting and opening up those tissues to receive energy, signaling from the brain. Fluid is flushing out and recirculating. And we can go from this to this very, very quickly by doing very little. You just have to allow the machine to work for you. So it's really cool how it works. So I am double checking some of these comments. You guys are awesome. I'm super excited to see you all today. And so again, when we sit, the effects of just sitting long periods of time, those muscles are naturally just very, very short, and they get tired. And then when you go to put your foot down or you go to get out of bed, it's like, you can feel that pain like right there on the bottom of the foot, usually like right here in the heel. Does not feel good. So we have to change that, because that goes all the way up, and that tissue actually attaches right here above our eyebrow, but it starts on the bottom of your big toe. It is really incredibly fascinating when you see how the body is put together. But the most important thing is your arch is actually meant to spring load 1,500 pounds of force of energy. So if you are wearing a custom orthotic, you're wearing tight fitting shoes, and you're not opening and spreading out those piggly wigglies and those joints, then it doesn't work anymore. And so can you imagine going across a bridge that doesn't load and give back, or jumping on a diving board and the diving board doesn't bounce and you're expecting it to bounce? That's basically what happens to your foot when you don't give it the energy and the love that it deserves and it needs. So I'm sharing you more and more on how to do some of that here today. So it's fully understandable if you are wanting to, take care of your feet. If a doctor has told you, hey, I really need to have you in an orthotic because you have too much mobility. And the secret to the absolute fastest athletes in the world is foot ankle rigidity, like having a really stiff ankle. You want that because it absorbs energy, transfers it on up the line, and continue to compress and transfer. So but not everybody has the ability to handle that kind of intensity. So if you are one of those individuals that you overpronate, or you have a very sloppy foot and a doctor is suggesting to putting you in orthotic, you might not really have much choice in doing that to protect your knees, your hips, and all the way up to your neck. And so you just have to make sure that you take that orthotic or those shoes off and stimulate those feet and get grounded and feel the ground or feel the grass or get on some turf or feel some marbles or some rocks or walk in a stream, a creek side. Like, you just have to reground, and then it reactivates that signaling, even though your foot is not strong enough to carry you. But these little fibers, these little kinks, we have those all over our body. And this is what we do in order to shaky and breaky. And then the body, the really cool part about it is our body restructures and reshapes itself back to whatever we are asking it to do on a routine basis. So if we're moving in a certain pattern all the time, the body is going to restructure, reinforce that highway, as opposed to staying unbalanced and unstable. But it has to take from one area to transfer it and reinforce it to another. So when it comes to the bottom of the foot and the plantar fascia, it starts on the bottom of your big toe. It comes all the way up, crosses over the top of the cranium, and attaches right here. So if you get a kink here in your hamstring, if you get a kink in your low back or in your shoulder, it will pull from further away in order to rebalance out that line. So we got to rebalance all of it. And so that's what we're going to do now. So I want to share with you, if you have a vibration plate that you'd like to play around with, we're going to do this from a standing position because it doesn't take much in order to experience the greatness of vibration plate technology and the benefits of it from just standing. It's very, very simple how it works. So I'm going to move the PMF mat away. So if you missed the PMF live I did earlier, the PMF mat is also something that will help with restless leg syndrome and plantar fasciitis, in that it is changing the electromagnetic signals. It is enhancing ionic electrical energy and giving the body a battery boost recharge, so that when our body goes to want to activate and work, the cells in the body that are exhausted, tired, damaged, when they fatigue and phase out, we have to have other cells activated and ready to go, or as much as we have available to being able to, maintain homeostasis and energy transfer. So here we go with vibration plate number 2. You can choose whatever you want, but I'm just going to bring a variety of different plates out here. Why not? We have them, so we might as well play. Now, when it comes to using the when it comes to using the massage gun on the bottom of your feet, works awesome. I didn't show that when we were sitting there, but it's another awesome strategy, is just using it on the bottom of the foot. There are a lot of sensitive pressure points on the bottom of the foot. So I have taught a video using one of our massage guns on how to do that, one of our older models. And it is available on YouTube. If you go back and type in Lifepro, Amber, plantar fasciitis, or foot pain, you'll see a couple of different videos that actually teach you step by step. That video came out, I want to say, in 2020, so it's very old. So Amber looks much different. Amber has gotten younger as the years have rolled forward because of all of our amazing biohacking products. So on the vibration plate, it does not matter which one. Whoops, it would help if I plugged it in. It doesn't matter which program you choose, just get on it. Okay, so we're just going to choose a program, get on, and go for a ride. So again, it does not matter which program you choose. You just need to get on, okay? And all I want you to do is just stand here and enjoy the ride. If you have lower leg pain, foot, ankle pain, we're going to start in a standing position for a few minutes, but I want you to be able to have a stool handy behind you or a seat available behind you. I'm bringing my stool out here so that you can see this when the time is right. But if I'm standing here on the vibration plate and I'm receiving the energy in my legs, the vibration, there's only so much vibration that can enter my body through the plate. And if I'm standing tall, or even if I'm bent over with my hands on my knees, it's the same amount of vibration entering into my body, whether I'm standing or whether I'm sitting. If I go into a seated position, and now the vibration is maximizing through here into my hips, I'm going to be able to dominate the vibrational energy from the hips down, which means that my lower leg and my foot and ankle are going to get more than if I'm actually standing, if that makes sense. If I'm standing, there's more body to receive the same amount of vibration. So if I'm having a seat or if I'm in more of a squat, I'm going to feel more energy here, but not so much up here. But if we don't need it up here and we want it down there, then let's isolate it and maximize it down low. So when you are in a seated position, make sure that your knees are at a level that is lower than your hips, because if your knee is higher than your hips, you're going to have hip pain. So make sure that your knees are somewhere between your toes and your heels. In other words, we don't want our knees way out in front of the vibration plate. We want our knees somewhere in line with toe to heel, somewhere in the middle. It doesn't matter whether it's towards the toe or towards the heel. You just don't want it behind. So in other words, we don't want to be so far away from the plate that the energy doesn't come up in here at all. It just stays here in the calf. And if we are right on top of the plate and my knees are way far forward, then I'm getting it more in my shin, but not the whole calf. So if you have your knee in line somewhere between toe and heel, that's money. That's like the sweet spot. And that's going to be a different area for each person based on your situation. So again, we're going to start by standing. What I want you to do is try and ground on those 3 prominent points that I showed you earlier. And I'm going to repeat those again. So you get to see the bottom of my foot. Okay, so base of your big toe is point A. Base of your little toe is B. Center of your heel is C. A, B, C. It makes a triangle. We want to feel those triangles on both feet as best as we can at the same time. So in other words, if I'm standing here, just how I normally would stand, and I really don't feel my big toe pushing down onto the plate, and I feel more around the outside edge of my foot, I'm not equalizing those 3 points. If I feel my big toe, but I don't feel the outside edge of my foot, then we're not equalizing those 3 points. And if I am feeling energy across the ball of my foot, so I'm feeling it across A and B, but not in the heel, we're not experiencing equilibrium on those 3 points. If we can feel equilibrium on those 3 points on both feet as best as we can feel it, then our body is receiving the maximal amount of energy possible for free. That means if I'm going to shell out a $100 bill to you, like I'm just going to throw $100 bills all day, every day for free through the ground, why on earth would you work your tail off for $20 bills on an overtime if I'm giving them to you for free? Take the free energy. But in order to do that, you've got to feel those 3 points as best as you can sense. And it will change as the vibration plate continues on the journey. It will continue to change. So that's where I want you to start. The next step, once you find those 3 points and you can feel them, you might have to have a seat on this. So you're gonna have a seat, and now I just want you to pick your toes up. Those 3 points stay exactly the same. So I'm gonna bring you closer to me so you can see this at the bottom. And so you're getting a close-up visual of Amber's feet. So again, 3 points of contact. A, base your big toe. B, base your little toe. C, center of your heel. A, B, C. And then in this position, what I want you to do is just pick up your toes, but your feet stay grounded in the exact same spot. So you should still feel pressure on A. You should still feel pressure on B. You should still feel pressure on C. So maintaining pressure, and then drop those toes back down. And I want you to push. So we have our toes. Push your big toe in contact with the vibration plate so you can really feel your big toe. I want you to really focus on pushing that big toe down. You should be able to feel that through your shin, but believe it or not, if your big toe does not compress the ground, your butt muscle will not fire in sequence in the order that it's supposed to. And again, there's part of the human brain that only the big toe gets access to it. It's the only way the brain will function is through that big toe access. So we want to make sure that we are pushing that big toe down. And if you're not using the other Piggly Wigglies, that's okay, because we're trying to dial in on the big toe, okay? Now, if you're catching this episode and you're liking parts of it, not all of it, you need a little bit here, a little bit there, you will see this. It will be available in our Facebook group or on the Facebook page for Lifepro, and at some point it will be transferred on into YouTube. So if you're able to come back, and if there's part of these exercises that you love, but you don't need all of it, you can come back and replay it and watch it again and again and again. If you are wanting to explore, or you can only do a little bit of it now, you can come back and watch it again later. It'll be available on the Lifepro Facebook page, and it will be eventually available on YouTube. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to slide this back just a tad so you can see me a little bit better. The logistics are always fun, trying to rearrange the room. Okay, so again, we're going to feel those 3 points. We're going to lift our toes so we can still feel those points. Okay, and then push those big toes down, push them down hard, and then lift back up. Push those big toes down, lift them back up. So I just want you to lift your toes, press your toes. You're just back and forth. We're just trying to get those toes actually working. Because if I had to guess, if you were to look at your toes from looking down, if you can squeeze your toes together, that's awesome, but can you actually spread your toes apart? And some of you are thinking, what is she talking about? Yep, you can crunch your toes together, you can grip the ground, okay? So I'm going to show you here what I'm talking about. You can grip the ground, but can you actually spread your toes apart? And if you cannot spread your toes apart, you need some of these on Amazon so that you can spread your toes apart. Because if you cannot spread your toes apart, your pelvic floor is not working, which means your core is not working very well. And that's kind of a problem. All right, so back to where we were at. What I want you to do is, if you grab your ball, again, I'm going to change things up a little bit. I had a ball earlier, and I got to figure out what I did with it. So I was playing with it. Okay, so we have, this is a foot therapy ball. You can use a lacrosse ball. It's a little harder, but you can get your dog squishy toy that squeaks if you want to, just something that you can squish, okay? And from here, you're just going to put this on one foot. And again, you can sit down and do this. You're just going to put it under one foot and just rock and roll it back and forth. You can knead the dough like you're trying to knead with your heel the ball. And you're just working a little bit at a time. And the cool part is that we're receiving vibrational energy at the exact same time. If you don't have a ball and you want to use a water bottle, you can use a water bottle. It's not as good as a ball, though, because a ball, you can roll around and around and around. But do not use a golf ball, because it will cause tissue inflammation in the bottom of your foot. I've had a lot of people try that. It is not, more is not better. more is not always better. So don't try a golf ball and don't try a baseball or a softball. Make sure it's something that will squish so that you can feel little bits at a time. And because the vibration plate is out of energy, we've been on here for 10 minutes. I'm just going to continue this little ball drill. I already did 10 minutes with my calves on it. Did 10 minutes standing sitting combination. Okay, so we do that. And then last but not least, ooh, the bottom of my foot is itchy. That means we're working. It means it's doing its job. We're breaking stuff down. It's a good thing. Now, the last thing that I'm going to do, and again, why, hello. For this exercise, this is one of my favorite exercises. If your big toe is not strong enough, then you're not going to get the feedback that you need from your big toe on up into your core. So you have to make sure that you are strengthening your big toe muscles. And I'm not using anatomical words because I'm not going to nerd out on all of you with anatomical muscle names because none of you care. You just want to feel good. So your big toe muscles that stabilize your entire foot. I've got my little table here because I actually want you to focus on doing this right. You're going to put this squishy ball right here on the inside of your heel with both of your feet at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this goes because it's one of my favorite exercises for fixing foot pain and strengthening the bottom of the foot. All right, but I want you to have something to hold on to because I don't care how balanced you are. I just want you to do it right. So I'm going to introduce myself a little table here. And we're going to I'm going to bring you down back to my level so you can watch this. Okay, now, so the ball goes right here on the inside of the heel. Okay, you're going to squeeze the ball with both heels. Most important thing is to remember that your toes, your big toes, need to remain parallel with each other. So if you are drawing in triangle like Mary Poppins or standing here Dorothy of Oz clicking her heels, you got it all wrong. That's a no-go, okay? So if we're going to do this right, we want to make sure that we are drawing straight lines with our big toe tendons. And if your toes are curved, I don't care. Figure out how to make them look somewhat straight even if they're crooked. It's okay. All right? So we are going to put the ball in between our ankle. We're going to squish the ball really tight. We're going to go up onto points A and B, and then we're going to come down. Okay? Now, here's what I need you to remember. When you do that exercise, your knees absolutely have to remain soft. You do not want your knees to be locked out, or your big toe is not getting the exercise. You're locking your knees out and you're cheating. There's no shortcuts when you cheat, so don't do that. And then the other thing that I want you to remember is when you go up squeezing the ball, if you don't do this right, you'll literally drop the ball. And so what does that look like? If I were to ask you to go up on A and B, most people are going to do this if they have foot ankle pain or they have sloppy joints. They're going to go up and out, up and out. That is a no-go. That's not good form. We want to go straight up because when all of those bones, the 25% of the bones in your foot, when those bones couple and they stack and lock in just like they're supposed to based on your alignment, not what's normal, but how your body aligns naturally, then everything else up to your neck and your cervical spine stacks and aligns the same. It all starts with the coupling of your foot and your bones. So this is going to go in between the ankles like that. You're going to squeeze. You're going to pop up. And if you go up wrong, you'll drop the ball. Literally, don't drop the ball. Okay. So I'm going to tell you again. Squeeze, pop up. Make sure that those knees are not locked but soft. So thighs are squishy and soft, not locked and like rock hard. We want our knees and our legs to be squishy soft. So we're up. We are coming down nice and slow. Pop up. Come on down nice and slow. We're going to squeeze, pop up, Come down nice and slow, okay? Now, the secret I haven't told you, my favorite part about that exercise, some point of that exercise, you're gonna develop a burning sensation, a cramping sensation, someplace. It's not gonna be where you think. And wherever you feel that tightness, that fatiguing, that cramping, that burning, that means you are meeting the line of resistance, which means adaptation. So in order to overcome that leg pain, that plantar fasciitis, the foot pain, and to have stronger feet, especially for runners, you want to do as many as you can do until you start to feel the burn. When you feel the burn, just do 3 to 5 more. If I were to tell you to do 3 sets of 15 and you can only get to 10, you're going to cheat the last 5 and you're going to do them super fast. The slower you do these exercises, the better you're going to be. So don't rush. There's no success with shortcuts. In fact, the immediate consequence of actually doing things right is you're going to feel the burn, and you got to take a little more time to get there. The reward, which is further down the road and is compounded, is you get to live your life pain-free, and you get to do things the way you want to do without having to have extra insoles, extra special shoes, and your body is going to absorb energy and information, which means it's going to be happy, which means you're going to be happy, and the world just continues on. So it's awesome. But anyhow, that is one of my favorite exercises, but I'm not going to give you all my secrets away because then there's no reason to call Amber or Lifepro. So I want to say thank you for all of your time today, and I will look forward to seeing you in our next episode video here in upcoming days. And again, if you haven't given a chance to Roseanne and Debbie for their workouts, feel free to join in on them as they do more of their lives. If you haven't checked out our video library, you can go back to YouTube and subscribe to the Lifepro channel, or you can find some of our videos on our Facebook page. But we are super delighted to be able to be part of your life and super excited to share our secrets of success to optimal living with all of you so that you can have all the secret success tips and tricks at home and you can work on a better you just one day at a time. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.